Hi everyone, I'm Tom and today I'm going to be showing you Age of Comics, which is a new game where we run competing comic book companies. We're going to be hiring writers, artists, we're going to be publishing new titles, maybe ripping off other people's titles, all in an effort to build a fan base, send our sales agents across Manhattan to earn the most money, and generally be the most marvelous comic book company out there. It's designed by Sonia Goncalves and Giacomo Cimini. It's for 2 to 4 players and it's on Kickstarter right now. I'll put the link to the campaign page in the description. You can see all of the final stuff there and more information on how to make this happen. This is a prototype I've got in front of me here, so excuse the things being in sleeves and glaring a little bit. You can see more about the final stuff on the campaign page. So I've got the game set up for 2 players here. In there, a few of these sales tiles are removed from the game and some of the spaces are empty based on the player count. And if we look at our player boards, we have 4 workers to place, some money, an artist and a writer. They have to be different colors to start with. Then you get to choose a comic book cover. This is a title that you can potentially publish. They're in your hand for now, but they will be played later on. Our player board is where published comics will go. As we publish more and more, we will get these bonuses to put out and receive extra things when we take actions. And if we can get loads of comics published, future ones will be earning more and more points. At the start of a round, we flip the calendar tile, and this is going to tell us which genre of tile we should flip face up in Manhattan. This gives you some direction of where you might want to move your sales agent, which you get to do when you take the sales action. In future rounds, you'll be refilling these tokens. You'll get to train staff members. But the bulk of the game comes in these actions here. At the start of the game, we each have 4 workers. We can obtain a 5th down here with a bonus after we have published 4 comics. You'll see there are a number of boxes next to each action. The available action spaces are equal to the number of players plus 1. So in a 2-player game, the top 3 spaces are available. And the actions will let us do a whole variety of things. When we come to hire, we will get a writer and an artist. If we come over to the display at the side of the board, this is the size for 2 players. It grows at higher player counts, so there's more in the display. You can choose from one of the available writers, or you can take the top writer from the deck. You can see their experience level. It's either going to be 1, 2, or 3. And you'll also choose an artist. You can't take 2 writers or 2 artists, it's one of each, and they go into your hand for later. So I might be thinking, there's a red comic love letter here that I could publish in the future. Wouldn't it be fantastic if I had a fairly experienced artist and writer on staff to get that done? It's a separate action though to go and get the comic. Once you've taken things, you refill from the decks. And it's all very well getting more experienced people. They'll make better comics, they'll draw more people in, but they're more expensive to publish, as we'll see in a bit. How do we get the comic titles themselves? Well, that's in the develop action. For placing here, you can take one of the available titles from the display. You can choose the top one from the deck. You can see the genre, but you can't see the title itself. The different titles have different bonuses in the corner. You can also choose to pay $4 to discard from the top of the deck until you find the genre you want. You can't search for a specific card, but you can always get the genre you want if you're willing to pay for it. So knowing Marty, he's just seen me take those reds. He might want to just take that love letter away so that I have to work a little bit more for it. Although, it'll be clogging up his hand. And of course, we refresh at the end there. At the ideas action, depending how soon you go there, you get more ideas tokens. If you go right at the top here, you can take 2 from the available pool, and then 2 more of your choice from the supply. The pool at the start of the round contains 1 each of the 6 genres, but it only gets refilled at the start of every round. Now, idea tokens are going to be used for loads of things, but perhaps their most important function is getting the comics published in the first place. So I've already got a green, I might be thinking about reds because those staff that I hired, and then I can take 2 more from the supply. I'm going to choose some more romance. The print action is how we get these comics published, as you might imagine. For going here, the first person can print 2 comics if they can do it. You can make an original or a rip-off. Now, you can't rip off anything until something's been published. So, going with an original, you need to play a writer, an artist, and a comic book title to corresponding slots, going from the first slot along. So, at the start of the game, Marty can use just his starting cards here. Now, it is better to have artists and writers that have the same specialty, the same color, the same genre as the comic you want to publish, but it's not essential. And you can change things around later if you get the right bonuses. So Marty could say, there's his writer, artist, and title. You need to pay resources to publish it. You need to pay money equal to the expertise of the 2 staff members you've got. So they're each 2s. That's going to cost Marty 4 of his starting 5. And you also need to pay 2 ideas tokens of the genre that you're publishing. So Marty would have to pay these 2 horror ideas tokens as well. We do start the game with 2 of our choice. You then look through the stack for the corresponding mini comic tile. So Marty's publishing Carmilla here, Innocence Lost. And you place this tile on the fame chart according to its number of fans. Now, all originals start with a fan. Your staff members provide a bonus fan if they have the right specialty, if they're the corresponding colour. So that's 2 fans. And for being the first player to publish a comic of that genre, you take the mastery token. This is worth 2 points at the end of the game if you've still got it. And it means that every comic you have published of that genre, previously or in the future, is worth an extra fan. So Carmilla over here has 3 fans to start with. We'd put that in Marty's track there. Now, if I was to publish more horror comics than Marty, I would take that mastery token from him. I can't tie, I have to do 1 more than he's already done. And you can't compete if you've only made rip-offs of that genre. You have to have completed at least 1 original. Now, originals have a little extra incentive for them because they're all worth 2 points each at the end of the game for everyone that you published. If 1 staff member is specialised, the correct colour, then they're worth 4 points. If both staff members are specialised, they're worth 6 points each. There is also a bonus, of course, printed in the corner of the comic there. This one has 2 2s, so Marty is back up to his starting 5 cash. Now, I think it's worth stopping off and talking about rip-offs for the print action again. You can choose for your first few games to not include rip-offs to make things simpler. Now, this might not be a great decision strategically for me at this moment, but just to show you how it goes, you need an artist and a writer. You do not need a comic book cover because it's already there. You are ripping it off. You search through the deck of rip-offs for the appropriate card. So Marty's published the fantastic original Carmilla. I'm over here at Rip Off Comics Inc. publishing Vampiria. And so we still place things just the same. I didn't need a comic book title in my hand. You still need to pay the creatives, so that's still $4 out of my starting 5. You do not need to pay ideas tokens. You haven't had any ideas, you've just ripped an idea off. And then you get the corresponding mini rip-off tile, and you do the same thing. Now, rip-offs do not come with a fan. Corresponding staff members still do. They're still specialised. That artist is specialised to do art for horror comics. So they do come with a fan inbuilt there. So I haven't had to spend idea tokens, but Vampiria as yet is nowhere near as popular as Carmilla. For the rest of the actions, we've got royalties. This is quite easy. When you go over here, you just earn that much money. So the first player there gets $4 from the supply into their pockets or on the table, be honest. Finally, we can talk about sales. The action itself moves your sales agents, these discs, around Manhattan, and you can reveal and potentially collect the tiles your agent comes into contact with. So how do they move around? You get 1 movement for free. So from 1 dot, you start off in the middle of this X here. From 1 dot to another is 1 move. That's all you get for free. So I've published a rip-off horror comic. There's a couple of things down here. There's a couple of things up here. I'm thinking of publishing romance as well, aren't I, in the near future? So I might head up this way. Now, for every extra step you want to move, you can take a cab. Every step in the cab, though, is going to cost you $2. You can go through other people's pieces if you keep moving, you're using cabs. But if you stop on a space another player is on, you have to pay them $2. And you can also earn these super transport tickets. Spending 1 of these can move you anywhere. So you can move, flip and collect in any order, and you can combine and repeat them. So the number of tiles I can flip and or collect is determined by the action. 3 tiles. But I can move 1, flip 1, decide to collect it or not, move to another one, flip another one. If I've got the money to keep moving, of course. As it is, I don't have any money, so I'm going to have to stop here. Which ones do I want to reveal? Now, I do have a space comic book cover. It's what I started the game with. So I think I might reveal all of these and think about which ones to collect. So these are sales orders. I can collect up to 3. I've flipped 3 now. I can have them all if I want them. Now, if I have already published or publish in the future a comic of that value, remember the value of a comic is the sum of its staff, then I can fulfill the sales orders that I have gathered with this action. And you know, I can take them now, and in the future, when I do publish an amazing sci-fi comic, I can turn in the sales order then and gain some more fans. Why would you not just collect them all then? Because any unfulfilled order tiles you have in front of you at the end of the game become negative points. So this sci-fi tile here that would earn you 3 fans, once you'd published one that was worth value 5 or more, it would lose you 1 point if you haven't fulfilled it by the end of the game. I'm quite confident though, because hey, this is just an example, so I'm going to take them all. And I do have, that's a pretty good combo, I think, of colours to have. And we can see that I have, against all odds, published a value 4 ripoff. It might not be as well regarded, as loved by the fans as Carmilla, but we have persevered. Our sales agents have managed to sell some more, so I can turn that in, and Vampiria gains another fan. So maybe with his last worker, Marty's thinking about this romance thing. He might draw a 3, hoping that it would be romance, but it's not. He could do a pretty valuable romance comic here, love letter, with those staff though, even though only one's matching. Because, as I said, we'll see in a minute, you can swap people around later on. At the end of the round, we establish rankings based on the comics that we've published and the fans that they've got. First place, Carmilla here, gets a 3-point token, and second place gets 2 points. All of your comics in the chart earn you money based on how many fans they've got. So Carmilla will earn $2, so will Vampiria actually, thanks to them gaining an extra fan. The new turn order is the reverse of the ranking we just did. So Marty would stay second player. All of the comics lose a fan, you know, time passes, things change, but comics can never go below 1. Rip-offs can start the game. They can be published with 0 fans, because, you know, if you don't have any corresponding staff, they don't come with an innate fan. They can start with 0 fans, but once they've earned a fan, they'll never go back down to 0 again. Your meeples come back, the face-up cards get discarded, and we move on to the next round. In round 3, 2 genres are revealed on the map. There are 5 rounds in total. Now, there are a few extra things that happen at the start of a round that don't really apply at the start of the first round. We flip over the token as usual and reveal all of the sales tiles of that genre. We refill the idea tokens, so there's 1 of each out there. You can add hype tokens to unpublished comics. Get to hype tokens in a minute. They're one of the bonuses. But at this point, we can train our staff members. Now, if, for example, Marty had published a comic here that had 2 specialized staff members, the staff with the lower value can learn from the other staff member. You use the improvement tokens to mark this. They can only go up by 1 per round, but you only pay $1 for that increase. Now, if only one of your creatives are specialized, or they're both the same value already, you can still increase their value through training. So in this case, only the specialized creative can train. So going from a 2 to a 3 costs $3. It costs an amount of money equal to the value of their new training level. Now, what are these cubes for? As we publish these extra comics, I know Marty didn't have those in his hand, and this is just an example. Don't worry about it. As you publish these comics, you can unlock bonuses. You can see underneath all of these actions is a bonus space, and more become available the more comics that you publish. So after your second book comes out, you can choose one of these 3 bonuses. You can choose reassign. After you've done the hire action, you get a new artist and writer. You can then swap an artist and a writer around. They can be swapped with the new artist and writer you just hired. They can be swapped with other creatives that you've got in your hand still. They can be swapped between slots on your player mat or any combination of those. So Marty, luckily, didn't dig through the deck or anything for this. Marty luckily found a level 3 artist, so he could swap out this superhero artist, but you need to pay the difference in their expertise. So that is going to cost $1 even with that bonus. But now they're specialized, there's more fans, there's more everything. Instead of reassign, you could choose hype. After you develop, get a new comic book title card, you can take one of the unpublished comic book titles from your hand, including the one that you just got. Hype tokens will be placed on all of the comics you've placed like this at the start of every round. You're delaying it coming out, hype is building up, and when you do publish it, every hype token that is on that comic book title will immediately get converted into fans. Over here, after you obtain ideas, you can convert ideas into fans. you can convert up to 3 ideas tokens you have into a fan each for 3 different comics you've published. They have to be the right genre. Once you've published 3 different comics, you can choose this bonus, or you could still choose one of the other ones. After you do the print action, you can obtain a Better Colors token. Over here, you've got better inks. These are worth 2 points each at the end of the game. After you have published your 4th comic book, you can choose from one of these bonuses, or you can choose one of the others still. After you collect royalties, you can invest in marketing. You can convert $2 into 1 fan, $5 into 2 fans, or $9 into 4 fans, and you decide how they are distributed amongst comics you've already published. Or, after you've done the sales action, you gain an extra editor, an extra worker, for the rest of that round only. You have to take the sales action again in a future round to get that editor again while you've got that bonus there. Now, you've only got 3 bonus cubes. Once you have published your 5th comic, you can reposition one of your cubes and choose a new bonus action, and you'll now get an extra point for every original comic you published at the end of the game. And then you will earn 2 points for every comic you publish from the 6th one onwards. You just have to put them next to your player board at that point if you do more than 6. So we keep going for 5 rounds. At the end of the game, you count all of your fans from published comics, subtract any fans you've got on unfulfilled orders, and you get that many points. So if you had 10 fans and 2 on an unfulfilled order, you'd get 8 points. There's a lovely scorepad, of course, for working that out. You add up all your points you earn throughout the game from your tokens for masteries, the 2 points each for your better color tiles, points for doing 5 comics or more. Every 4 money is a point. Every 4 idea tokens is worth a point. Each original comic's worth 2 points on its own, 4 points if it's got 1 specialized worker, or 6 points if it's got 2 specialized workers. Rip-offs do not get any extra points. And that is an overview, perhaps gone into a bit more detail than I was expecting to, of Age of Comics. I hope you enjoyed that and it's given you an idea about the game. If you would like to find out more, the link to the campaign page is in the description. There are hundreds of playthroughs and things on this channel if you would like to see more. There are ways to support the channel in the description as well if you would like to do that. Thank you very much for being here most of all, and I'll see you for the next game. Bye everyone.